What's going on, guys? So what I have in front of me is a M1 MacBook Air from 2020. This has been my personal machine and still is my personal machine. Despite trying M2, M2 Pro, M3, M3 Pro, even Max variants of these chips, this MacBook Air has been my go-to since its release. You know what else I go to? Our sponsor, nobody. So at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you which laptop I'm upgrading to, but first, why am I still using the M1 MacBook Air? Easy. It just works. Hear me out. As a tech reviewer, it may look like we always use the latest products, which some of us do, but the personal devices and products I use day to day aren't the ones you constantly see in videos. For example, I'm on the iPhone 13 Pro, even though the 14 and 15 series has been out and we're waiting on the 16. There is nothing wrong with this product and it runs perfectly fine for what I need it to do. Going back to the M1 MacBook Air, I run multiple Docker containers with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and if I really need horsepower, I'll just use my virtual machine in my home server or spin up an instance on Amazon or something like Linode. If you guys want a video on my home server and how I run things, let me know down in the comments below. Proxmox has been treating me well for almost a year. I also forgot to mention that this is the base CPU variant of the M1 chip with just 8 CPUs and 7 GPU cores. M4 has like 10 of each at this point. Now there is one caveat to this, and it's that I don't do video editing on this laptop, but from the end of 2020 till 2023, this laptop did everything for me on this channel when it came to video editing. I've moved over to an M2 Mac Mini for editing, but outside of that, 95, I'd even say 99% of the things I do on this laptop are just done in a browser. And I don't really understand why people would want to get a thick, heavy, power-hungry laptop when your work is mainly done in a browser or a cloud nowadays. Matter of fact, let me go get one of those laptops. By the way, this is the M3 MacBook Pro. So what better laptop to handle those tasks, such as doing stuff in the browser or cloud-based apps, than the MacBook Air that's optimized for low wattage things and having extended battery life in that department? Don't get me wrong, objectively, the MacBook Pro is the better product, but subjectively, the features it has, I don't care for. I don't care too much about the ProMotion or 120 Hertz. I'm not a motion graphic designer, and higher frame rate is only relevant, which for gaming, I only still game at 60 FPS. Shocking, I know. Want to know what's even more shocking? I game on this TV right behind me. Yeah, I'll just stop talking right there. When I do game on the go, I just use Sony's Remote Play and play all my PS5 games on my MacBook Air, no problems. I even do that on my iPad sometimes. The native ports are great, such as the HDMI, the SD card reader, even MagSafe, which is now offered on the Air, but with dongles becoming the norm for the past decade at this point, it's whatever for me. A dongle and the MacBook Air are still lighter than the Pro by itself. Other than that, I don't care about the Pro or Max variants of chips because if I'm using my laptop on the go, those chips are just going to cut my battery life in half for the sake of having more performance when I'm primarily just doing stuff in the browser. The thicker, heavier chassis, I don't want to carry this around all the time. Now, I will also mention that the microphone and speaker are better objectively, but the speakers and microphones are good enough for me on the Air, and if I'm on the go, chances are I'm probably using wired headphones or Bluetooth earbuds. Speaking about on the go, I do work on the airplane, I know. It's mainly coding, but when I want to test stuff out or I want to do some word processing on the plane, the Air is the perfect size and thickness for the economy tray. For people flying business class, just go ahead, take your entire desktop because you have plenty of room up there. I've used the Pro, and while it does fit on the economy tray, the 13-inch is good enough for me, and the battery life, or I should say the long-lasting battery life in the lower wattage chip basically makes it the best for a viewing experience for long-haul flights, not the Apple Vision Pro. That is going to be a reoccurring theme in this entire video. The Air and its specs are good enough for me, and that's the question you should be asking yourself. Is your laptop good enough for you? Outside of video editing, which I do on my main machine at home, the Air is the laptop that doesn't compromise at all, especially when it comes to the battery life department. The 16-inch is out of the question despite how amazing that display is. I just refuse to carry around something that large with me anywhere I need to go to do work. Now, I do have some concerns with the MacBook Air models because it seems as though we have matured in the M series by Apple, now being on generation 4, and the Air seems to be lagging behind the rest of the product stack, and it's starting to get the last variants of chips, kind of like the MacBook Airs now. So why is it that the MacBook Air doesn't have the latest chips, but the MacBook Pros always seem to have the most capable chips? And my guess is it's just because the MacBook Air and the target audience doesn't really need all that power. We don't need 2, 3 encoding or decoding engines. We aren't going to be crunching AI models with 7 billion parameters, maybe just 6.9 billion parameters. The Air models also don't have fans, which is a major win for laptops in the industry overall, but I think this time around, now that the chips are getting hotter, Apple might need some type of cooling, whether it's additional pads or another cooling solution to keep the M4 or higher chips cooler so they're not thermal throttling as much. Or God forbid, they cut the voltage or give us a lower bin M4 that doesn't clock as high or run as hot. But for this target audience, I don't think a lot of people are going to care. So with WWDC around the corner and now being nearly 4 years into the life of M1, what laptop am I going to? For now, unless the new M4 or MacBook Air drastically has improvements, I'm probably just going to wipe this clean and install only the essential stuff that I use day to day. The longer I hold on to my MacBook Air, the more value of my money that I get out of it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you rewind it, this laptop does everything I need it to do. My only issue at the moment is storage, and why 80% of my storage is just being taken up by system data that I can't delete is beyond me. Apparently Clean My Mac can fix it. Maybe I'll try that, but usually I like to wipe my computers clean every year or so just to keep them fresh. So you guys let me know down in the comments below what laptop you have and how long you've kept it. I'm not upgrading to M2 or M3 MacBook Airs, but the Pros I would say are out of the question for me. The only way I would get a Pro is if I get a really good deal on sale or someplace in the used market. The Air is a more than capable machine in this day and age, and if I really need that horsepower, I got a MacBook Mini at my place for 1/3 of the price for a Pro or Max chip. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Appreciate every single sub, like, and comment. Excited for WWDC. And as always, guys, much love. I will say I will be out the country the moment WWDC drops, so you guys probably won't see coverage on WWDC and all the new products and things that are announced. I'll have scheduled recorded videos that are gonna be out for the next 2.5 weeks. So sorry about that. But yes, I am still excited for WWDC. And as soon as I get back, I'll do coverage on it and you guys will be able to see it on the channel. Much love. That was such a clean outro. God, I'm so good at this. Why do I use a different password on all my laptops? It makes my life so much harder. For example, I'm on the, I almost forgot to mention that this is the base CPU M1 chip with just 8 GPU, 8 CPU, 7 GPU, get it right. Don't do video editing on this laptop. But from the end of, that was a little scary. 2020 till 2023, what am I, a toddler from Rugrats?